What if everything you've been told about getting rich is a lie? What if the reason you're still struggling isn't because you're not smart enough, not lucky enough, or not born into the right family, but because you've been taught to think like someone who stays poor? You see, wealth isn't about luck. It's not about being handed opportunities. It's about mindset. It's about decisions. It's about breaking free from the mental chains that have kept you stuck in the same cycle for years. Right now, there are people just like you, no smarter, no more privileged, who are building real wealth, not because they won the lottery, but because they made one powerful choice. They decided to change. And that's exactly what this video is about. Not quick fixes, or not overnight schemes. This is about rewriting your financial destiny, about finally understanding why you haven't succeeded yet and how to fix it. Because here's the truth. You don't need more time. You don't need better circumstances. What you need is clarity. And once you get it, everything changes. So ask yourself, why do some people rise while others stay stuck? Why do millions dream of freedom, but only a few actually achieve it? Let's start with the most important question. Do you truly believe you can become rich? If your answer is yes, then great. But if there's even a small voice inside whispering doubt, that's where we begin. Because that voice, that belief, is the very thing holding you back. Wealth starts in the mind. The way you think about money, success, risk, and even yourself determines whether you'll remain trapped in survival mode or break through to abundance. Think about it. When was the last time you allowed yourself to truly imagine a life without financial stress? A life where you didn't have to worry about bills, where you could afford the things you want, not just the things you need, where you had options, freedom, control. That life isn't reserved for someone else. It's meant for you. But you have to stop pretending that working harder is the solution when what you really need is to work differently, to think differently. Most people spend their whole lives chasing money instead of understanding it. They trade hours for paychecks, hoping one day things will get better, but they never do. Because that system is designed to keep you dependent. The truth is, the rules of wealth were written long ago by people who understood something most don't. Money follows mindset. Rich people aren't special. They simply know what poor people don't. They understand the power of delayed gratification, the importance of financial education, and the value of compounding decisions over time. And the best part, none of it is secret knowledge. It's all available. All you need is the willingness to unlearn what's keeping you stuck and reprogram your thinking. Because once you realize that wealth is a skill, not a birthright, everything shifts. Suddenly, you're not waiting for permission. You're not hoping for luck. You're taking control. You're making choices that build momentum. You're creating a future where money flows to you naturally, not as a result of desperation, but as a reflection of your growth. This isn't about greed. It's about peace of mind. It's about living without fear. It's about giving yourself the space to breathe, to grow, to dream bigger, and live bolder. And if you're tired of surviving and ready to start thriving, then this is your moment. Because what you're about to learn next will challenge everything you thought you knew about money. It will reveal the hidden psychology behind wealth creation and give you the tools to rewrite your own financial story. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have everything figured out. All you have to do is take the first step. Are you ready to stop dreaming and start building? Then keep watching, because the richest version of you is closer than you think, and it all begins with a single decision to believe it's possible. You already have everything you need to become rich. Right now, or not tomorrow, not when you get that raise or land the perfect job, but today. The tools, the knowledge, even the opportunities, they exist all around you. So why haven't you done it yet? Why are you still dreaming instead of building? Still wishing instead of working? Because deep down, you've been conditioned to believe that wealth is something you chase, not something you create. That money is scarce, hard to get, and only for those who were lucky enough to be born into it. But here's the truth. Wealth isn't found, it's built. And the foundation of every great fortune ever made started with one thing: belief. Not just belief in money, but belief in you. The moment you shift from thinking like someone who wants to be rich to someone who knows they will be rich, that's when everything changes. Because your identity drives your actions, and your actions determine your results. So ask yourself, who do you see when you look in the mirror? Someone who struggles with money? Someone who's always waiting for things to get better? Or do you see a future millionaire? A person capable of creating value, generating income, and making decisions that build long-term freedom? If you don't see yourself as wealthy, then no amount of strategy will make you rich. Because without self-belief, there is no action. Without confidence, there is no courage. And without courage, there is no change. Think about the most successful people you know, not just billionaires, but everyday individuals who have broken free from financial struggle. What do they have in common? They don't wait for permission. They don't seek validation. They act. They make decisions based on what they want, not what they fear. And that's exactly what you must learn to do. Your brain has been wired by years of limiting beliefs, societal conditioning, and fear-based programming. You've been told that taking risks is dangerous, that getting rich is rare, that comfort is safety. But real safety doesn't come from staying where you are. It comes from growing beyond where you've been. Wealth grows in the space between where you are and where you're willing to go. Every time you choose security over growth, you lock yourself into the same cycle. Every time you say, I can't afford it, you train your brain to stay poor. Every time you justify inaction with logic, you reinforce the very mindset that keeps you stuck. But what if you could rewire that? What if you could stop seeing money as something you hope for and start seeing it as something you deserve? Not because you're entitled, but because you're willing to put in the work, make the sacrifices, and take the steps that most people avoid. That's the difference between poverty thinking and millionaire thinking. Rich people understand that money follows value. They know that wealth isn't given. It's earned by solving problems, serving others, and consistently adding more value than they take. And the best part? You don't need a big idea to start. You don't need a perfect plan. All you need is a mindset shift, a single decision to stop playing small and start showing up bigger than your fears. Because once you believe you can be rich, you'll start making different choices. You'll stop wasting time on distractions that drain your energy. You'll cut out the habits that keep you stuck. You'll invest in learning and growth in yourself. You'll stop looking for shortcuts and start building systems. You'll stop watching life pass you by and start designing the life you truly want. This is not fantasy. This is reality. And it begins the moment you decide that you are worthy of abundance, that you are capable of success, that you are ready to stop pretending you're not meant for greatness and start living like you are, because you are. You were never meant to struggle forever. You were never supposed to live paycheck to paycheck while watching others enjoy the freedom you crave. No, you were born to rise, to grow, to build. And if you're still watching this video, it means you're ready. Ready to break free from the mindset that's kept you trapped. Ready to step into the version of yourself that doesn't make excuses, only results. So let this be the turning point. Let this be the moment you finally commit, not just to wanting more, but to becoming more. Because the richest life you can imagine is not as far away as you think. It's closer than you've ever believed. And it starts with a single powerful thought: I am building wealth, and nothing will stop me. You've already made the most important decision. You believe you can become rich. That belief alone has set something powerful in motion. But belief without action is just a wish. And if there's one thing that separates those who stay stuck from those who break through, it's this: the willingness to do what others avoid, to take risks when others play it safe, to keep going when everyone else gives up. Because here's the reality: becoming rich isn't about having all the answers. It's about refusing to let fear make your decisions for you. It's about stepping into discomfort, knowing that growth lives on the other side. Most people spend their entire lives avoiding pain, avoiding risk, avoiding failure, and in doing so, they avoid success too. But not you. You're different. You've already decided that enough is enough, that you won't settle for less than you deserve, that you will no longer be held back by the voice inside that says you can't, or not now, or maybe later. No more excuses, no more waiting. This is your moment. So ask yourself, what are you truly afraid of? Losing money? Looking foolish? Failing in front of others? Let's be honest, those fears are real, but they don't have to control you, because every single person who has ever built wealth has felt the exact same fear. They've failed, they've lost, they've doubted themselves. The difference is they kept moving forward anyway. That's exactly what you must do. Think about this. Playing it safe is the biggest gamble of all, because when you avoid risk, you guarantee mediocrity. You lock yourself into a life where you trade time for money, where you work hard but never feel free, where you dream big but never take the steps to make it real. That's not safety. That's limitation disguised as comfort. Real freedom comes from courage, from taking bold action even when you're unsure of the outcome, from investing in yourself when nobody else believes in you, from making choices today that your future self will thank you for. You know what separates rich people from everyone else? It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's mindset. They understand that failure is not the end. It's feedback, that every setback is a setup for a comeback, that true wealth isn't built overnight, but through consistent, relentless effort over time. And the best part? You can learn to think like them. You can train your brain to see opportunities instead of obstacles, to view challenges as stepping stones, not roadblocks, to stop shrinking back in fear and start leaning forward with confidence. It starts with small choices, choosing discipline over distraction, choosing long-term results over short-term comfort, choosing to invest in learning, in growth, in habits that compound over time. These choices may seem small, but they build momentum. And momentum is what turns dreams into reality. You don't need a perfect plan to begin. You just need to start. Open a savings account. Read a book on personal finance. Cut out one unnecessary expense to redirect funds toward your future. Take a course to increase your skills. Talk to someone who's ahead of where you want to be. Ask questions, learn, grow, act. Every step you take builds unstoppable energy. Every choice you make reinforces a new identity. Not of someone who hopes to be rich, but of someone who is actively building wealth. Someone who refuses to stay small. Someone who dares to rise. This journey won't always be easy. There will be moments when you doubt yourself, when progress feels slow, when setbacks knock you off course. But remember this, the path to wealth was never meant to be easy. It was meant to be worth it. And every great fortune ever built started with a single decision, the decision to try, to keep going, to never give up. So ask yourself again, who do you want to become? Someone who dreams of freedom but never takes the steps to create it? Or someone who dares to walk the difficult road because they know the reward is beyond anything they can imagine? The answer lies in your actions, in what you choose to do next. Not tomorrow, or not when you feel ready, now. Because the richest life you can imagine is not reserved for someone else. It's yours for the taking. And it begins the moment you decide once and for all that you are no longer afraid. You've already made the shift. You believe in your ability to become rich. You've faced your fears and chosen courage over comfort. You've embraced the truth that wealth is not a stroke of luck, not a distant dream, but something you can build. One powerful decision at a time. Now comes the part where belief turns into action, and action turns into transformation. This is where most people fall off. Not because they lack knowledge, not because they don't want it badly enough, but because they underestimate the power of consistency. They think success comes from one big win, when in reality it's built through hundreds of small, disciplined choices. The kind of choices that might seem insignificant on any given day, but compound into unstoppable momentum over time. Because here's what nobody tells you about becoming rich, it's not about doing extraordinary things. It's about doing ordinary things extraordinarily well, and doing them every single day. Saving a little more, spending a little less, learning a little more, investing not just money, but time, energy, and effort into building systems that work for you, even when you're not working. Think about this. What if you didn't need to change your life all at once? What if you only needed to change one habit today? One small behavior that sets you on a completely different trajectory? Maybe it's setting up automatic savings so you never miss a chance to grow your wealth. Or maybe it's cutting out one unnecessary expense and redirecting that money towards something that builds value. Maybe it's reading 10 pages of a financial book every night instead of scrolling mindlessly through your phone. These habits may feel small now, but they are the foundation of massive results. Because discipline compounds. Just like interest grows in a bank account, so does the effect of daily choices. And the longer you stay consistent, the more powerful they become. But here's the catch. Discipline doesn't come from motivation. It comes from identity. When you see yourself as someone who saves money, you save. When you see yourself as someone who invests in growth, you learn. When you see yourself as someone who builds wealth, you act like it without needing permission or inspiration. That's the level you must reach. Not just wanting to be rich, not just planning to be rich, but being the kind of person who becomes rich naturally, effortlessly, because it aligns with who you are. And the best way to build that identity is through repetition, through showing up again and again, even when you don't feel like it, even when progress feels slow, even when nobody is watching. Because real growth happens in the quiet moments when you choose long-term freedom over short-term comfort. Let me ask you this. How many days in a row could you make a good financial choice before it became a habit? 10, 30, 90? What would happen to your finances if you simply did the right thing every single day for 100 days straight? Imagine the confidence you'd gain, the clarity, the control, because that's how real wealth is built. Not through dramatic life changes, but through relentless consistency, through the daily grind of making better decisions than the person you were yesterday, through stacking small wins until they turn into massive breakthroughs. So stop waiting for a magical moment to start living the life you want. Stop telling yourself you'll begin when things are better once you have more money. That's the voice of fear disguised as logic, and it will keep you stuck forever. Instead, take one step today, then take another tomorrow, and another the day after. Build rhythm, build routine, build unstoppable momentum, because the future version of you, the wealthy, free, empowered version, is counting on the choices you make right now. And let me remind you why this matters. It's not just about having more money. It's about having more freedom, more options, more peace of mind, more control over your time, your life, your destiny. It's about being able to support the people you love, to give back, to live without fear of what ifs. That's the real reward. Not just numbers in a bank account, but the life those numbers create. A life where you wake up each morning not dreading the day, but excited for what's next. A life where you're not dependent on a paycheck to survive, but designing your own path forward. You deserve that life, not someday, not maybe, or right now. And the only thing standing between you and that reality is your willingness to commit fully, completely, without hesitation, to the daily habits that build lasting wealth. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop hoping and start doing? Or ready to trade distraction for discipline, short-term pleasure for long-term freedom? If the answer is yes, then don't wait, don't hesitate, start today, because the richest version of you isn't waiting for perfect conditions. It's already moving forward, already building, already winning. And so are you, the moment you decide to take the next step. You already know what to do. You've built the belief, faced your fears, and committed to daily action. You understand that wealth isn't about luck or timing. It's about mindset, discipline, and consistency. But here's a truth most people refuse to accept. No matter how much you know, no matter how many books you read or videos you watch, none of it matters if you don't surround yourself with the right influences. Because here's the reality. You are shaped by your environment, by the people you spend time with, by the voices you listen to, by the ideas you expose yourself to every single day. And if you want to become rich, you must stop letting broke thinking define your financial future. Think about this. If everyone around you complains about money, doubts their ability to succeed, and lives paycheck to paycheck, what do you think their influence is doing to your own mindset? If the media you consume focuses on struggle, scarcity, and limitation, what kind of expectations are you feeding your brain? If the conversations you engage in revolve around survival instead of growth, how can you possibly expect to break free from the same cycle? You cannot rise above an environment that constantly drags you down. That's not failure. That's physics. Like water flowing downhill, your mind follows the path of least resistance. And if that path leads through negativity, doubt, and fear, then that's exactly where you'll end up. But what if you changed your environment? What if you filled your life with voices of those who have already achieved what you desire? What if you listen to people who didn't just talk about wealth, but lived it? Who didn't just dream of success, but built it with their own hands? What if you started absorbing their mindset, their strategies, their habits, and let them shape your thinking instead of the noise around you? That's how real transformation happens. Not through one big moment, but through constant exposure to excellence. Because when you immerse yourself in rich thinking, something powerful begins to shift inside you. Your beliefs start to align with success instead of struggle. Your decisions begin to reflect abundance instead of scarcity. And suddenly, the things that once felt impossible now feel inevitable. This isn't about idolizing wealthy people or believing they're better than you. It's about recognizing that they have something you need: experience, knowledge, strategy, a proven roadmap that you can follow. And the beauty is, you don't have to figure everything out on your own. You don't have to make all the mistakes from scratch. All you need to do is learn from those who have already walked the path and use their wisdom to accelerate your own journey. So ask yourself, who are your mentors? Who are the people you go to when you want guidance on money, success, and personal growth? Do they inspire you to dream bigger? Do they challenge your thinking? Do they push you to take action? Or do they keep you stuck in the same place, reinforcing the same limiting beliefs you've been trying to break free from? If your answer isn't strong, it's time for a change. Start reading books written by successful entrepreneurs. Listen to podcasts hosted by people who have built real wealth. Follow thought leaders who teach value creation, financial intelligence, and long-term thinking. Surround yourself with content that doesn't just entertain, but transforms. And don't just consume information, apply it. Take one idea from someone who's ahead of where you want to be and implement it immediately. Use their strategies as your blueprint, their failures as your lessons, their wins as your motivation. Because the more you align your thinking with those who have already succeeded, the more you begin to think like them, act like them, become like them. This is how you break free from poverty thinking. This is how you escape the cycle of limitation. This is how you start attracting wealth, not just financially, but mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because wealth is not just about money. It's about mindset. It's about environment. It's about the people you allow to shape your thinking and the ideas you choose to believe. And if you want to build a truly rich life, not just a rich bank account, you must stop letting broke thinking control your destiny. Replace it with wisdom. Replace it with strategy. Replace it with influence that lifts you higher every single day. Because the truth is, you become like the people you spend the most time with, whether physically or mentally. So choose carefully. Choose powerfully. Choose those who remind you of who you are capable of becoming. Because when you fill your world with rich thinking, you create the perfect environment for wealth to grow. And once that environment is set, nothing can stop you from becoming exactly who you were meant to be. You are already becoming someone new, someone who no longer accepts limitation as your reality, someone who refuses to let fear make decisions for you, someone who understands that wealth is not just about money, it's about growth, mindset, and the environment you choose to live in. And now, there's one final truth you must embrace if you want to break through to lasting abundance. The greatest investment you can ever make is in yourself. Because here's what most people don't realize. Money follows value. It doesn't come to those who ask for it, beg for it, or wait for it. It comes to those who create it, who build it, who add more of it to the world than they take. And the only way to do that consistently is by growing into the kind of person who naturally attracts wealth. That means investing in your education, not just formal schooling, but real practical knowledge that increases your earning potential. It means learning how money works, how businesses grow, how investments compound, and how influence builds power. Because financial intelligence is the foundation of true wealth, and it's something nobody can take from you once you've earned it. It also means investing in your skills. In a fast-changing world, the people who thrive are the ones who adapt, learn, and master valuable abilities that serve others. Whether it's communication, negotiation, leadership, marketing, or any high-income skill, the more you develop your expertise, the more you increase your worth. And when your value goes up, so does your income. That's not just theory. It's simple economics. But beyond knowledge and skills, you must also invest in your health, both physical and mental. Because what good is wealth if you're too exhausted, stressed, or broken to enjoy it? Your body is the vehicle that carries you towards success. Your mind is the engine that drives every decision you make. If either one is weak, your entire journey slows down. So prioritize rest, prioritize nutrition, prioritize clarity. Build habits that keep you strong, focused, and ready to perform at your best every single day. And perhaps most importantly, invest in your confidence, because self-belief is the invisible force that determines whether you rise or stay stuck. You can have all the knowledge in the world, but if you don't believe you deserve success, if you doubt your ability to handle it, you'll unconsciously sabotage yourself before you even begin. That's why building unshakable confidence is not just important, it's essential. How do you build that confidence? Through action, through small wins that stack up into proof that you are capable. Every time you do something difficult, you prove to yourself that you can do more. Every time you push past fear, you weaken its grip on you. Every time you stick to a habit, you reinforce the identity of someone who succeeds. Confidence isn't given, it's earned. One courageous choice at a time. So ask yourself, what are you doing right now to grow? Are you reading books that expand your thinking? Are you taking courses that sharpen your skills? Are you working with mentors who challenge you to become better? Or are you still waiting for permission, for motivation, for the perfect moment to begin? Because here's the truth. The perfect moment will never come. There will always be distractions, always be excuses, always be reasons why not now feels safer than right now. But real growth happens when you stop waiting and start acting. When you commit to becoming the kind of person who doesn't need luck because you've built the skills, the mindset, and the habits that guarantee success regardless of circumstances. Investing in yourself is not a luxury. It's the most powerful financial decision you can ever make. Because unlike material possessions, unlike short-term pleasures, what you build inside yourself compounds over time. Every book you read, every course you take, every mentor you follow, it all adds up. It all becomes part of the unstoppable force that leads you straight to wealth. And the beautiful thing is, this kind of investment never stops paying off. Once you gain knowledge, it stays with you. Once you develop a skill, it opens doors forever. Once you build confidence, it fuels every future decision you make. This is not just about getting rich. It's about becoming the kind of person who stays rich, or who thrives in any economy, in any situation, because you've built an inner foundation that cannot be shaken. So stop making excuses. Stop telling yourself you'll start tomorrow. Start today. Buy that book. Enroll in that course. Find that mentor. Make the commitment, not just to want more, but to become more. Because the richest life you can imagine begins the moment you decide that you are worth the investment. Because you are. And when you finally see yourself as the powerful, capable, limitless creator of your own destiny, that's when everything changes. That's when wealth stops being a dream and starts becoming your reality. So go ahead, invest in yourself, not just financially, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Because the version of you that becomes truly wealthy is not the one who suddenly gets lucky. It's the one who decided to grow long before the riches arrived. You've already done the work, you've built the belief, you've faced your fears, committed to daily action, surrounded yourself with rich thinking, and invested in your growth. Every step you've taken has brought you here, to this moment where everything shifts from possibility to reality. But there's one final truth that separates those who stay stuck from those who break through. Action is everything. Because knowledge without action is useless. Motivation without action fades. Planning without action leads nowhere. And no matter how much you understand about wealth, no matter how strong your mindset becomes, if you don't take massive, consistent, relentless action, nothing changes. This is where most people fall apart. They read a book, feel inspired for a day or two, then go back to their old habits. They watch a video like this one, nod along, agree with every word, but never actually do anything different. They talk about dreams, but never take the steps required to make them real. And maybe part of you still hesitates. Maybe you're waiting for more confidence, more time, more money before you begin. Maybe you're hoping for a perfect plan, for certainty, for someone to tell you exactly what to do so you can follow it without fear. But here's the truth. There will never be a perfect time. There will never be a moment when you feel 100% ready. And if you keep waiting for the fear to disappear before you act, you will wait forever. Real success doesn't come from waiting until you're ready. It comes from acting even when you're not, from moving forward despite doubt, from choosing progress over perfection. Because action creates momentum. Momentum builds confidence. Confidence fuels more action. And once you start this cycle, it becomes unstoppable. So ask yourself, what are you waiting for? Are you waiting to feel more confident before you start investing? Waiting to have more money before you build your skills? Waiting to be free from fear before you take the first step toward wealth? Stop right now. Because the only way to build confidence is by doing hard things. The only way to gain financial freedom is by making the choices today that create abundance tomorrow. The only way to overcome fear is by walking straight through it. Think about the richest, most successful people you know, not just billionaires, but everyday individuals who have broken free from struggle and created real wealth. What do they all have in common? They didn't wait for permission. They didn't wait for motivation. They acted consistently, relentlessly, without hesitation. They opened that savings account even when they weren't sure how much they could afford to put in. They bought that course even when they doubted whether it would help. Or they reached out to mentors even when they were afraid of being ignored. They started businesses even when they didn't know everything, and they kept going every single day, even when they failed, even when they lost money, even when nobody believed in them. Because they understood something most people never do, action compounds. Just like interest grows in a bank account, so does effort. One small decision today leads to another tomorrow. One bold move opens the door to more. One habit builds on the next. And over time, the person who takes consistent action always wins. Not because they were smarter or luckier, but because they showed up when others gave up. So stop waiting, stop overthinking, stop searching for more information just to avoid taking the first step. The time is now, the place is here, and the only thing standing between you and the life you want is the courage to begin. Take one action right now, just one. Open that investment app, write down your financial goals, enroll in that course, reach out to someone who inspires you. Commit to reading one chapter of a wealth-building book tonight instead of scrolling mindlessly through your phone. Do something, anything, that moves you closer to the life you deserve. Because here's the secret nobody tells you about becoming rich. It doesn't happen all at once. It happens in tiny moments, in small decisions made every single day, in actions repeated until they become unstoppable. And the more you act, the more you prove to yourself that you are capable, that you are worthy, that you are building something real. Motivation will come and go. Inspiration fades, but action builds identity. And once you see yourself as someone who takes action, someone who follows through, who keeps going, who refuses to quit, then success isn't a question of if, it's a question of when. So take the step. Take it now. Don't wait for the perfect moment. Create it with your own hands, because the richest version of you is not waiting for luck, not waiting for permission, not waiting for someone else to hand you success. It's already moving forward, already building, already winning. And so are you the moment you decide to act. You've come so far. You no longer believe the lies that kept you stuck. You've stopped waiting for luck, for permission, for the perfect moment. You've taken action, real, powerful, life-changing action. And now, as you stand at the edge of something greater than you've ever known, it's time to remember who you truly are. Because you were never meant to live a small life. You were never born to struggle, to feel trapped, to spend your days chasing money that always seems just out of reach. No, you were born with fire inside you, with dreams too big to ignore, with potential that has barely begun to unfold. And the truth is, wealth isn't just about money. It's about freedom. It's about peace of mind. It's about waking up every morning knowing that you are in control of your destiny, that you have the power to create the life you want. Not because of what you were given, but because of what you built. Every choice you've made so far has brought you here. Every habit you formed, every fear you faced, every lesson you learned, they all led to this moment. And now, as you continue forward, you must carry one final truth with you. The richest life you can imagine is not reserved for someone else. It is yours. You don't need more time. You don't need better circumstances. You don't need permission from anyone. What you need is belief. Belief in yourself. Belief in your ability to grow, to adapt, to overcome whatever stands in your way. Because that belief will carry you through every challenge, every setback, every moment when doubt tries to creep back in. Think about everything you've already changed, your mindset, your habits, your environment, your willingness to act. These aren't small changes. They're transformations that set you on an entirely new path. A path where success isn't a fluke, but a result of the person you've become. And let me remind you why this matters. It's not just about having more money in your bank account. It's about living without fear, about being able to support the people you love, about giving yourself the freedom to choose how you spend your time, your energy, your life. It's about building something bigger than yourself, a legacy, a business, a future that others can look up to. That's the real reward of wealth. Not luxury cars or expensive clothes, but the power to live on your own terms, to wake up each day and do what you truly want to do, to give back, to lead, to inspire. And you have that power right now. Not tomorrow, not when you reach some arbitrary goal. Right now, in this moment. Because wealth begins with a decision to stop settling, to stop waiting, to stop doubting, a decision to rise. So ask yourself, who do you want to become? Someone who dreams of freedom but never takes the steps to create it? Or someone who dares to walk the difficult road because they know the reward is beyond anything they can imagine? The answer is already inside you. You were never meant to stay small. You were never meant to live in fear. You were never meant to wait for someone else to hand you success. No, you were meant to build it, to fight for it, to claim it with every ounce of strength and determination you possess. And you are doing it right now. Every step you take builds unstoppable momentum. Every choice you make reinforces the identity of someone who wins, someone who doesn't give up, someone who refuses to settle for less than greatness. So keep going, even when it feels hard. Even when progress seems slow, even when nobody else sees what you're building, keep showing up, keep pushing forward, keep proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever believed possible, because the richest version of you is not waiting for perfect conditions. It's already moving forward, already building, already winning. And so are you the moment you decide to keep going. Because you were born to be rich, not just in money, but in purpose, in passion, in power, and nothing, absolutely nothing, can stop you now.